What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Second Street Marvel and the Morning Movie Chat. I'm your host, Trinity. Thank you all so much for being here today. I hope you're all having a good Wednesday this morning. It is New Comic Book Day, and if you have a local comic book shop near you, you should make sure that you get out and support them. I can guarantee you that if they are anything like mine or anywhere close, they have more than just comic books. Like my local comic book shop, they have like these like kind of action figures, the different statues and different things you can get. They have posters. They have all kinds of nerdy stuff. Like at my local comic book shop, they actually even host card tournaments like on the weekends. Like the Yu-Gi-Ohs and the Dragon Ball Z card games. What else do they have out there? Some of those different games out there. I'm sure that somebody much nerdier than myself would know a lot more about. But they have some of those there. They host tournaments there. So they have all kinds of stuff that they do, and your local comic book shop probably does as well. And there's a lot of good comic books that came out this week, guys. Wolverine. My review for Wolverine issue number 1 will be dropping here on the channel later today. Make sure you guys go check that out. I already dropped a review of New Mutants and Marauders this week as well. Just this morning. If you didn't check those out, make sure you go check that out. These are the two issues right here. Both of these were, they were fairly decent issues. I got really no complaints about either one of them. Now, before I continue, I want to say thank you all so much to all of the Patreon supporters that we have here on the channel. All their names are listed right down here on the bottom. You can go join Patreon for as little as $1 a month, and you can feed a child or something. I'm kidding. You won't feed a child, but for as little as $1 a month, you'll get some exclusive content over there. I've got some other things that I've got planned that I want to do over there for some of the Patreon supporters, but there is some exclusive content over there already. There's, I think, at least one video that's not here on the channel. There's something different here on the channel in place of that. And then there is also just a couple of other, just like, I don't know, like streams with me, kind of sitting here doing this, flapping my gums, but being a little bit more, behind the scenes ish, talking more about myself and the way I'm seeing things, as opposed to, the nerdy content here that you get from me on the channel. So, I guess it's a little bit more into my world. And thank you to all of the Patreon supporters out there as well. I do greatly appreciate that. There are also links down in the description where you can send direct donations via Streamlabs, and that is greatly appreciated as always. We greatly appreciate that. And then you can also send in, super chats as well. And that's all greatly appreciated. And AFK Bard sends in a $2 super chat, says, "Never saw the movie, but I'm here for good company." All right. Which movie? Which movie is that? Which movie are you talking about today? Because I got quite a few things there listed in the thing. Oh, you know what? You might have seen when I first brought the stream up and had it listed, and it was under The Big Lebowski. But yes, The Big Lebowski is a great movie. We were talking about that. Well, we talked a little bit about that yesterday. We kind of got off on a little tangent about some other things as well. But it was a good, fun conversation talking about some things that I don't know, I myself like talking about in the first place. So yeah, it was a good time to be had by all. And it's always fun anytime, every morning when I get here to interact with you all and chat, about some of these things that we all love so much. Another thing I want to make sure that you guys are aware of, make sure not only do I have a couple more videos getting ready to drop here on the channel very soon, but make sure that you tune in on Friday to the Trailer Park Live at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because on the Trailer Park Live, it's going to be a little bit different. Normally I kick the show off talking about some comic books that I pulled for the week, talk a little bit about those, and then I get in and interact with all of you guys as we talk about some of the things that have kind of happened throughout the week. Well, this week we're going to have we'll still be doing a lot of that too. But we're going to have some special guests on. We're going to have Kermit the Log and Jolly from Snowdub Music and Entertainment. Both of my friends from the Cotton Connection are going to be on the show, and we are going to be talking about and reviewing the Soska Sisters' Rabid. This is a remake of a 1977 David Cronenberg classic that was redone just last year by Jen and Sylvia Soska. Two really great indie horror film directors. These ladies are very talented. They wrote my favorite comic book of last year. That is Black Widow, No Restraints Play. This is an excellent book. I am giving a copy of this away on trade paperback on May 1st when Black Widow premieres at the movie theater. All you got to do to get entered into that, I still haven't entered it into the description yet, but there's a video I released about 3, maybe 4 weeks ago now on a Monday. It was about the new Black Widow series being put out by Kelly Thompson. Okay, go watch that video. I tell you how to get entered into it. Really, all you have to do is you have to be a U.S. resident, shipping reasons, be a U.S. resident, be subscribed to the channel, and go do what I say to do in that video, and you're good to go. That's it. It's pretty simple. And, you get like this a copy of Black Widow, No Restraints Play. This is a great book. This is my favorite comic book of last year, and I'm giving a copy of it away on the day that Black Widow premieres at the movie theater. So make sure you stay tuned for those two things. Now, I do have some bad news as well, because on Saturday, my daughter's birthday is coming up, and on Saturday, we're going to be, going to Universal Studios. So maybe it'll be vlog time. Maybe you guys will see some vlogs coming up here very soon. There'll be some vlogs coming up, maybe. Maybe I'll do something like that. So make sure... I wanted to tell you guys that, that this Saturday won't be doing the comics and mayhem show with Dylan from Dylan's Comics and Chris from Chaos and Comics. That will probably be they will probably be doing that over on Chris's channel, I believe. If not, it will be on Dylan's. I'll make sure I leave a link to that on my community wall so you guys can go and check that out, because they will still be coming together to bring we got a couple new subscribers. Awesome. Thank you, guys. You can go there and check out... see, I got sidetracked by the new subscribers, man. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the support. Man, I can't see... but I'll leave the link on the community tab so you guys can go check that out, because they're going to get together, going to talk about comic books, and that's what I like to do here on the channel, and talk about these nerdy movies and things like that. You guys know how much I love all this stuff, the MCU and all that stuff. It really kind of got me back into into reading comics again. So like I said, make sure you go check out some of those reviews. Make sure you stay tuned Friday for the review that I'm going to be doing with Snowdub and Kermit the Log. It's going to be a good time on Friday. And then, make sure you go check out my reviews that I already dropped for New Mutants and Marauders here on the channel. Michael got a couple more subscribers. Thank you all so much for being here. Now, there was another review that I've got dropping here on the channel later today, and that's for Wolverine issue number 1. Make sure that you tune in for that as well. That will be coming up here in, I believe, the next couple of hours. Now, the next thing I want to talk about here in just a minute, after we get some other news out there, is the Black Widow Prelude comic. This is issue number 2 of 2. We'll dive into this a little bit more here in just a few minutes, but there are some things that kind of play into all this MCU and everything that's going on here lately, and that's what we're going to get into right now. There's just like a whole lot of news, guys. Like, if you guys have been here before, you see how crazy I go out there with some of my theories. I've been so far out there to say that I believe that the next Captain Marvel film we're going to get is Captain Marvel Civil War 2, right? I think that's where we're going here. I think maybe the next Avengers movie could be, maybe it's Avengers Secret Empire, or maybe it could be the Secret Invasion. It could be any of those things. But a lot of these things that are happening in the MCU are building to a lot of the things that are happening here, with all of these rumors and everything that are going on. And I'm not sure if any of you guys remember, not too long ago, actually, the whole thing started a long time ago. My theory about Kang, not about Kang necessarily, but Immortus coming into the MCU. But Immortus is a version of Kang. Okay, Immortus is the ruler of Limbo, and it's the mystic realm of Limbo. He's the ruler of that. And in this issue that happened, like, the only reason I came upon this issue, that I looked this thing up, was because clear back before Avengers Endgame had premiered at the movie theater, there was this little trailer that was going around that had everybody like, woohoo, like everybody was all happy about this thing. Remember where Paul Rudd was looking at the signs there on the thing. Oh, got a bunch of subscribers, and the Den of Nerds donated $5 through Super Chat. Says, what new comic are you looking forward to most today, Trinity? Honestly, I'm telling you, this right here, this Wolverine issue number 1, this book is the read of the week so far. This book is great. There are a lot of things that happen in this issue, in particular, that I think play into a lot of things that we've kind of seen in some of these books, in some of those white pages. Like I think in Marauders, we get all those white pages where there is somebody communicating from the X desk. I think we meet that person in this book. We also see in this, there's 2 stories in here, and in the second story, it's revolving a lot around vampires. So we got vampires coming into the Wolverine. So we can only guess that that's going to somehow relate to Krakoa and what's going on in the X-Men and everything. There's some very interesting things that happen in this book. This is a great book. But I think this is the one I was most looking forward to. The other one, though, I will say the one I was anticipating the most, because it was kind of a given that the Wolverine was going to be good. But is this right here, guys? This is a book I've talked about here on the channel so many times. It's ridiculous. This is a ridiculous thing. This right here, The Amazing Mary Jane, and this issue number 5. Is just as good as every single other issue has been. I wish I could say that this is a guilty pleasure, but at this point, this is a good book put out by Marvel. Mary Jane, yes, no, she don't have superpowers. She's just a regular girl. She's just an actress. She's just a regular woman. She's in LA filming a movie. And the things that happen in this book, it's just so fun. It's so well written. Like, I actually look forward to reading this book every month. I can't say that for a lot of other titles that I read out of Marvel. For some reason, this book has become one of the good ones they put out. And they actually just put out a Gwen Stacy comic book last week. And you know what? It was pretty good. Black Cat has her own ongoing series right now. And you know what? It's pretty good. And I'm sitting here reading all of these. I'm like, man, these are actually some really good books. And it's like these female-led books that have characters that don't even really have superpowers in them are interesting, more so than what I've been reading in Captain America and Amazing Spider-Man. Although Amazing Spider-Man, the last 3 issues have really picked up and gotten really good. I will tell you that. But yeah, I would say Wolverine and Amazing Mary Jane are definitely my favorites so far. Most look forward to this week, definitely for sure. Okay, so guys, yes. Getting back on track here, there is some things that I've seen here through. Let me see if I can pull this up here on the screen for you guys. There are some. There's been a whole lot of reports, and like I said, I was saying, guys, a while back, I'd been talking about Immortus coming in, which is a version of Kang. And there's this issue that, like I said, it was teased in that Avengers. Well, I would say, because I'm a nerd and I would comb through this little thing, that I put out this video too, because there's all this clickbait news out there going around that that Scott Lang. Remember, he was looking at that telephone pole with all those missing persons posters when he got back in Avengers Endgame. Well, everybody was looking at this little case that was in his hand before we seen, the movie and everything, and thought that he was carrying around Hank Pym's lab. I went out there and debunked that trash, man. I went out there, I did a whole video, man. Like, it was a fun video to do. But in the background, there was this address on this house. It was 1064. And so, me being a freaking nerd, I went and looked up 1064, and I came up with Avengers issue number 10 from 1964. And what happens in this issue is basically Immortus comes back in time, and he meets up with Zemo and the Masters of Evil, who at this time comprise of the Enchantress, Scourge the Executioner, himself. Man, I want to say who was the other one? It wasn't Hercules, because Hercules is somebody that he brought out to fight him. There was another one there too as well though. And so they all came together. They wanted to defeat the Avengers. That was the thing. Well, Mortis, comes back and tells them like, "Hey guys, I'll join you. I'll defeat the Avengers. You guys just need to basically follow me." And they're like, "Dude, why the hell should we listen to you? Like, bring down one of the Avengers, and then we'll talk. And then we'll talk." So he goes after. What happens is Immortus ends up going after Rick Jones. Okay, Rick Jones was then basically lured in to basically get superhero powers, right? To get superhero powers. And he had been kind of friends with Captain America and the Avengers in general here already. Rick Jones is a pretty big guy. So then he ended up getting caught by Immortus, and he got sent back in time and held in captivity, as a prisoner. And once Captain America went there to Immortus and was like, "Hey man, what the hell?" And Immortus was like, "Hey man, you go ask your Avenger friends. They gave him up." And so he goes back to the Avengers headquarters. They get into a little fight, and then they end up going back to Immortus's place, and he basically lured him in. So what he did was he ambushed them by bringing in people of the past, like there was like Merlin. Hercules, and I can't remember. There was somebody else. Like he brought in these few heroes or these few like villains, I guess, from the past to fight the Avengers. And then basically what he did was he sent Captain America back in time to save Rick Jones. And if Captain America could go back in time and save Rick Jones, like he would bring him back to his time, and he'd be like, "Hey, okay, like, hey, cool, you win. It's all good. It's all good." Which, I don't know. Would a bad guy do that nowadays? I don't know. So that's what happens. Cap goes back, ends up, saving Rick Jones. They end up, he keeps his word and transports him back in time. Captain America shows up, saves everybody from getting their butt kicked. Immortus goes back to where he was from. The Masters of Evil are getting ready to get their asses kicked. And then all of a sudden, the Enchantress sets a spell that takes them back in time to right before all of this happened, right when they were scheming and plotting to bring down the Avengers before Immortus showed up. And then it kind of displayed that they were somehow stuck in a loop because the exact thing happened at the very beginning of the comic book when Immortus showed up. So it was one of these weird time loop things. And I've kind of had these theories that all this stuff is going to plan together. We've seen Loki take off in the Avengers movie, right? And man, I'm going on instead of getting to all these things that are in these articles, aren't I? So we're getting there, but so all this stuff happens, and it's been rumored that Rick Jones is possibly going to be coming into the MCU. It's been rumored that they're bringing in the Thunderbolts. It's been rumored that they're bringing in the Young Avengers. So there's just a whole lot of rumors going on out there. Now there's also this right here. Let me see if I can get this here and pull this up. Let me see. Where are we at here? Okay. Do I got the right one here? Right. I don't see it here. There it is. Bam. Right here. Okay. First, we got an update here for the Disney Plus slate. This is from Murphy'sMultiverse.com. This story just dropped this morning. He's saying that he's got some updated information here about the upcoming Disney Plus series, and there's not a confirmed date, but they are saying that they are getting ready to drop an announcement here within the next couple of weeks, supposedly, about all of the Disney Plus streaming service shows. As we've seen, pretty much all of these, they haven't set all of them in concrete, because we've seen they moved WandaVision up, they bumped Hawkeye back, and they're already working in production for She-Hulk, Ms. Marvel, and Moon Knight. And supposedly they are going to be going into production before even Hawkeye does. And Hawkeye was, announced, I believe, before most of these other series as well. So that's pretty much what we got here coming from Murphy'sMultiverse.com. I'm not going to sit here and read all of this to you guys, but supposedly they are going to be giving us an update soon from the actual studio update about the Disney Plus shows coming up within the next couple of weeks. And it's not said if that's going to be like an article, an exclusive in like Variety, or if it's going to be an advertisement, a trailer on their website or on their YouTube or anything like that. It doesn't really say here because you don't have confirmation of that. But you guys can go here, check out murphysmultiverse.com. Like I said, I don't want to read this whole article to you. Do you guys want me to read this article to you? Seriously? Ah, I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, there's also this story here, and this is connecting imaginary dots. This is a thing where he goes into a lot of speculation here about the MCU, and we know that lately it's been rumored that Owen Wilson is coming into the MCU, and he's going to be in the Loki series. I believe that's probably actually confirmed, and he's going to be in the Loki series, and possibly playing as Kang is the kind of the speculation and rumors going on around right now. I know Josh over at the Den of Nerds has talked about this several times here over the past couple of days. And me, I'm all about that. I like that idea. Owen Wilson is a great actor. He's in a lot of movies, and he really shows a lot of range in his acting. He does anything from comedic stuff to dramatic stuff, and that's a good thing. And to me, that's something I've talked about a lot here on the channel. Especially me and Stevie J from Stevie J Reviews had a good video one day talking about these different things with actors. How a lot of actors from comedic backgrounds who do a lot of like comedic type roles are really good when they get into drama. Like look at an Adam Sandler. Look like you can even look at like a John Candy. All of these different people. Look at Tom Hanks. All these different people, and I think a lot of that comes with the chops that they develop in a lot of them if they're ad-libbing on when they're doing movie shoots, or even just things like because comedy is a lot harder to do than drama, but I think a lot of that plays hand in hand as well. We've seen some people who do more dramatic roles and transition into more comedic roles as well. But I think a lot of it really has to do with an actor's ability to emote for the most part. Those little micro expressions and all of that, being able to turn something like funny, serious on the turn of a dime. But there is these rumors that Owen Wilson is coming in to play Kang in the MCU, and this is interesting because, as I said, Immortus is a version of Kang, of Kang the Conqueror. So we've got all these rumors flying around with this, and I can't remember. I thought it was on MCU Cosmic that I read that they were going to be coming out with with Rick Jones very soon. So a lot of these things just kind of, I don't know, just kind of keep coming up, right? Then we've got this story right here about the Red Hulk from the Illuminati. I heard Josh talking about this one yesterday. Talking about this new report indicates that Marvel Comics' Red Hulk may join the Marvel Cinematic Universe sooner than you may be expecting. That's what we will assuredly hear in the upcoming She-Hulk Disney Plus show. The question is who will be saying it. According to a new report from Geeks Worldwide is where this came from. Okay, so we can, hey, why not, instead of continuing there, why don't we just go to the source of this, right? Exclusive Red Hulk, and I knew it was somewhere else. I couldn't remember. I just knew that I'd seen this on Illuminati. Okay, so from Geeks Worldwide, exclusive. This was yesterday. Red Hulk to make MCU debut in She-Hulk Disney Plus series. And this really goes on a lot to talk about how General Ross, William Hurt's character, is going to be basically transformed into the Red Hulk in the Marvel Disney Plus streaming service with She-Hulk. And obviously he's going to be in the Black Widow series, so there's a lot going on there with that. Obviously, if he's coming in, and he's been in, the MCU, obviously here in the past. So it's just kind of crazy because he's an older actor, but I guess if he's coming in to play the Red Hulk, I mean, he could literally just always be himself, and then when it comes to the motion capture, it doesn't really matter, right? I don't know. It's kind of crazy. And I think Red Hulk is something cool. I think a lot of people are ready to see this. But yeah, that's pretty much what the report is that they've got him getting ready to come through. Now, we also hear all these other theories with the Thunderbolts and everything like that. And guys, that's why I say there's a whole lot of things going on here that just kind of relate to, like I'm saying, we haven't heard anything about Captain Marvel 2. And that's what I'm saying. I think it could be easily said that Captain Marvel Civil War 2 could very well be that next film, Captain Marvel film. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you. It very well could be. But anyway, guys, sorry, I've been flapping my gums long enough about all this nerdy stuff. Let's go ahead and get here into the chats, and then we'll dive a little bit more into this Black Widow book, because there's some interesting things going on here. Like in this book, we learn kind of where in the Black Widow movie, where we see General Ross is coming after Black Widow. We kind of obviously we knew the time frame of it anyway, as they've kind of announced that. But we get a little bit more where General Ross is going to be getting help, because he's obviously he's only got so much say so over the rest of the world. So he actually reaches out to the UN on this for their help to help bring in Natasha Romanoff, and they've been talking about some very interesting things here in this comic book. So we'll go ahead and get into that, and let's get here into the chat and say hello to everybody. $10 super chat. Thank you so much. James Heaton says, "Hey Trinity, haven't read comics since I was a kid. I love Marvel and the MCU. Seen every movie. Seen every movie many times." Oh yeah, me too. Believe me, I put in a lot of research into those things. If I wanted to get back into comics, where should I start in Marvel? Just sub TT. Well, thank you very much, James Heaton. If you wanted to get back into comics, where should you start? That's a really great question. It depends on if you're wanting to read current comics or if you're wanting to read old comics. If you want to get into like current comics, I mean, you could really pick up just about anything. Because contrary to a lot of popular belief, Marvel is actually getting better at continuity right now. I've been reading several different issues, different series out there, and they're all kind of tying together pretty good. Amazing Spider-Man, of course, Amazing Mary Jane came out of the Amazing Spider-Man. Like they kind of launched that all off in there, and it's been crossing back and forth and being referenced there in the Amazing Spider-Man, as well as Amazing Spider-Man being referenced in her book. They were doing very good with that. We see recently Savage Avengers actually just crossed over. They did this issue that was really just a series of true believers that crossed over with what's going on in the X-Men books, along with Doctor Strange, and just a lot of things have been tying together a lot more with Marvel, like some of their continuity and things. So I would say you could just about jump on anywhere. I know Chillmonger, he did a very good video not too long ago talking about what Marvel books that you need, that you should read. But I would say, like, for me, I like Spider-Man. I would say pick your character that you like and go with that. I've heard that Immortal Hulk has been pretty good. I've heard some bad things about it too, just some things going on in it. I've heard Immortal Hulk has been pretty good. I've heard Daredevil is really great. It's being written by Chip Zdarsky. He's a great writer. Been doing some good things with Marvel. I know, and that really depends on what you, like I said, because there's one that's like it's not in continuity, Marvel continuity necessarily. It's called Symbiote Spider-Man: Alien Reality. And it basically takes place back in the day, kind of like the first series they did was right after the first Clone Wars back in the 80s. And Spider-Man was just getting back into New York, and he first had the symbiote suit. It was really great. We got the poster right back there, you can see. And now they've got the new one, Symbiote Spider-Man: Alien Reality. It's been really good. Basically, what's happening in there is the Hobgoblin has kind of become the Sorcerer Supreme, if you will, and he sent Spider-Man into this weird reality where things are backwards. The black Natasha Romanoff is actually Black Cat now, or she's Red Cat or something like that. Just weird things going on. Like Kraven the Hunter isn't Kraven the Hunter; it's Kraven, his friend that likes to go safariing with him. Just really weird stuff. But it's been really good. But other than that, like really great titles coming out from Marvel have been. They've been few and far between unless you go into the X books. If you want to read any of the X-Men right now, I would say House of X and Powers of X. It's available on trade paperback, probably on hardcover too. Definitely go read House of X and Powers of X. Then after that, they should have trade paperbacks coming out soon, I would hope, of some of the other series getting ready to come out or that have spun out of that, which they are calling the Dawn of X. I would definitely say out of those series, definitely read X Force, definitely read Marauders, and for the most part, the rest of them you can kind of pick and choose if there's things that you want to read. I've been doing some reviews of those here on the channel, and maybe I should go back and break those down by series a little more. Talk, I don't know, maybe just do a video talking about each one of those a little bit more in depth. But definitely, I would say start there and pick your favorite character though. But if you want good books, I would say definitely the X-Men books have been. Most of them have all been pretty quality. Even some of the ones that haven't been that great, like Excalibur, it's actually an okay book still. But yeah, and again, I haven't read all of the books that are currently going on in Marvel either. Because they've another one that would be good is Thor. Go read Thor right now as well. They recently just came out with issue number 3. Donnie Cates is now writing Thor. It's been pretty good, a pretty good 3 issues, and it's good. You probably won't be disappointed in Thor if you kind of like the character and things like that. I was never big into Thor before I started reading this series, so I've enjoyed it so far. So yes. Now let's get back here into the chat. Sorry, guys. Man, it's been a busy morning here. We got AFK Bard, Tommy, Kobe for the Love of Movies, Fanjexture is here, and guys, make sure you go subscribe to Fanjexture's channel if you're here on this stream. Make sure you go subscribe to Fanjexture's channel because he's going to be doing a live stream tonight where what they're doing is they're going to be talking about Jim Carrey movies from the 90s and ranking them. It's a NCAA tournament style bracket competition. It comes down to the death, and we will see if Jim Carrey's greatest 1990s movie, The Cable Guy, wins or not. Yeah, that's right. I'm already calling it. I'm already calling The Cable Guy. Yes, because the talent behind that movie is great. Okay. For one, I believe you've got Ben Stiller there doing everything. I believe, is that the one Judd Apatow had something to do with that as well? You got Jim Carrey in there. You get just like, dude, that movie, it's just a good one. It's a good one. So yeah, make sure you go subscribe to Fanjexture channel. Fanjexture is here in the chat, and I shared that on my Twitter this morning as well. So good morning. Thank you guys so much for being here. Let's see, who else we got here? Den of Nerds Live is here. Thank you so much for being here. We got Michael Odin, Drummond Company. Thank you guys so much for being here. Gary North, thank you for being here. Let's see, we got Tommy, the hardest working moderator in the game, is in the chats. We got Aaron Mamoliti. Coachella Coastal, Hector Figueroa, Jacob's Quest, Justin Simone. I recognize a lot of these names. Rose Sachs, Dead Weight. I don't recognize that one, but I recognize a lot of you from some other chats here, from over at the Den of Nerds Live. Ash here, Maverick Pilgrim, Ryan Galindo, the Den Mother sent me. Nice. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. The Southern Comic Geek says, "What's up? What's up? How are you doing?" Paul Quintero. Let's see. And guys, if there's anything that you guys want me to read, you don't have to send in super chats. I do greatly appreciate it. Like I said, you can also just make sure that you at Second Street Marvel, that right there, just type that into the chat so it highlights my name in there so I can see if there's anything in particular you guys want me to talk about specifically. Josh sends his regards. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. Awesome. Josh is a good dude, man. Let's see who else we got here. Ryan Bassett, Giorts, Ricky Regala, Sinner762. Let's see who else we got here. Al Schuler says raid. Nice. Jacob's Quest, thank you so much for being here. Let's see, Justin Simone, did I already say Justin? We got Garlic here. Ooh, where's Garlic Jr.? Ooh, deep cut, man. Deep cut. You guys know that. Don't act like you guys aren't some Dragon Ball Z nerds too, man. Hector Figueroa, Den of Nerds is the building. Like and sub Second Street. This man is the truth. Hey, man, I do my best. James Bordeaux says, "Good morning, Trinity, from the Den of Nerds Live." Well, thank you guys all so much for being here, man. Thank you guys. Alex, the Den of Nerds EP. How are you doing today? How dare you enjoy your kid's birthday? I know. I'm taking the day off, and we're going down and having some fun for her birthday. Dang it. Let's see, Ashley Pennington, thank you so much for being here. Would love Civil War 2. Me too. I know a lot of people don't like Civil War 2, but the thing is, for me, it leads to a lot of other things. Like, a lot of things happen before it. It happens, a lot of things happen after it, and the things that happen after it are things that could be good for the MCU, because it allows the MCU to sort of do a reboot, if you will, because that's exactly what Secret Empire did in Marvel Comics, was it kind of did a reboot of a lot of the characters and everything. A lot of things kind of reset back to how things were previously. And plus, I gotta be honest with you guys, I liked the whole Hydra Cap thing. It was great. It was great. Buying a couple extra, it's my birthday. James Heaton says, "Hey Trinity, just dropped over from Josh's stream. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, it looks like we've got sent a lot of people here this morning from the stream. Thank you guys for being here." Comic John says, "I love how the dinner stream nerds ends and yours begins, Trinity. Getting me to lunchtime every day. Nice, nice. Wu Tang Wells, Russell, thank you so much for being here. Another great supporter of the channel. Um, why do we even bother with that Josh nerd? I'm sticking over here from now on." Well, Jacob's Quest, if you're more of a Star Wars guy, that's probably why. I'm not as much on Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I grew up with it, but he talks a lot more about Star Wars than I probably ever will. Even though I love Star Wars, don't get me wrong, I do. I love Star Wars. It's Mav's birthday? Is it? Oh, well, happy birthday, Maverick Pilgrim. Happy birthday. Julie from Wished Upon a Vlog, thank you so much for being here. Jason Preston is here. Gosh, man, will we even get caught up with the chat by the time it's time to end the show? Will Gentry, thank you so much for being here. You know what still makes me laugh, says Will Gentry? The way comic readers call them books. Always makes me chuckle when I hear that. They are books, man. It's great literature. Some of them are, though. Glitter and Duct Tape, thank you so much for being here. I haven't seen you in a while, Glitter and Duct Tape. I hope you're doing well. I know I've seen you in some of the other chats, lately. Justin Simone says, "Executioner's song has always been one of my favorite crossovers." Ooh, I'm not sure what we're what that is, which one that is. LB from the Lonely Banter is here. Thank you so much for being here. Brian Buffka says, "Let's light this candle." Yes, definitely. Definitely. Okay. Longbox Diving is here. We got Rachel Hitcheye. Thank you so much for being here. We got Wookiee Supremacy in the building. Says, "Good morning, true believers." Okay. I think, Terrazon is here. King Bars is here also. Ooh, King Bars says, "I just saw the Cable Guy a couple days ago. Jim Carrey should have an Oscar for his performance of Somebody to Love." Yes, and I'm telling you, that movie is great. Cable Guy, like, by no doubt, was the '90s Jim Carrey's time, man. Like he did so many great movies back then. But Jim Carrey is a really good actor, and this again comes down to what I was talking about earlier about comedic actors being able to go in and do really great at dramatic roles. Because even Jim Carrey himself has done that. There's just a lot to be said for people who do comedic roles. Okay, let's see. Justin Simone says, "No problem, Rose. Any comic shop will know what you're looking for. Just say the Black Widow everyone has been talking about." Oh, which one? I must have missed one here. Okay, it must have come from Rose Sachs. Let's see. Was there a question? Is this Black Widow book a Black Widow a new or old publication? If you're talking about this one right here is a new comic book. It just released today. And it's a prelude. And we'll go ahead and get into some of these things here. Now, it's been said, Kevin Feige has said that this movie will take place between Civil War and Infinity War, basically. And we're getting a lot of that here. But, with all these rumors and things that have been going around with the Red Hulk getting ready to come in, like I said, with Rick Jones, being rumored, all of these things tying in together, because a lot of this has to do with, everything that's been going on with, with the rumors of, the Young Avengers, which we can see they're obviously building up here in the MCU. Rick Jones kind of ties a lot of these characters together, too. He's a big character in the Marvel world, and I won't confess to know a whole lot about him. But, I've had many, speculations, like I said, with that Avengers comic book that ties into that. But then here, through this Black Widow series, this book is a lot more flashbacks. We're getting a lot more flashbacks to when she first went to Hulk, how she can help pacify Hulk. Some of these interesting things, we know watching the MCU that a lot of the biggest Easter eggs and references and things like that are things that are said in middle, like little conversations, little throwaway lines, if you will, that happen in the MCU. Most of them aren't things that come from big, great action that happens in the MCU. It's all these little throwaway lines. Like I said in the last issue, when we got the last issue of Black Widow, I was talking about something else that a lot of people have been talking about with regards to the Black Widow movie, is that Loki was talking to her about the red on her ledger, about Dreykov's daughter, about Sao Paulo, about the hospital fire. Well, in the last issue, we learned that General Dreykov was actually the guy who was in charge of the Red Room. General Dreykov was in charge of that, and it was overseen by Madam, I can't remember what her name was. Madam Web. No, it wasn't Madam Web. But it was being looked over by somebody else. And he was basically, Thaddeus Ross is there talking to Councilwoman Holly, which is who he's talking to here in these pages right here. Now, Councilwoman Holly, that's right here. Councilwoman Holly there, she is the one that Black Widow basically saved her in Captain America Winter Soldier and went and impersonated her and put on the face spoofer. And remember all that from Captain America Winter Soldier? So, like, she feels indebted to Black Widow. So she's kind of trying to protect her here in that last issue and this issue as she's talking to Thaddeus Ross. And because Ross is trying to tell her, like, hey, we need help. We need your help to bring in the Black Widow. We need Black Widow here. He's talking about how she is able to calm down the Hulk, basically from his Hulk form, and calm him down. You know, she kind of, not necessarily that they've had a relationship, but it's kind of been hinted at that maybe they've been intimate, and they kind of talk a little bit about that. They're talking about how Hulk ended up leaving during after Avengers Age of Ultron, and how he went MIA. And there's just a lot of kind of arm wrestling here between Thaddeus Ross and Councilwoman Holly going on in this book, as they're just kind of catching up with a lot of the events that Black Widow has gone through here in this book, or here through the course of the MCU. Now, some of the things they're talking about here are all referential to things that we have seen in the past. And just little references here that makes me wonder, how much of this, like, Black Widow is going to be tying into Thaddeus Ross and the Red Hulk, as we do see that he is basically here asking for this councilwoman's help to bring in the Black Widow by use of her resources, being part of the UN. Let's see, he's saying she's asked, because she asks him, what do you want? And he says, the cooperation of the United Nations Security Council, their resources, troops in foreign countries, if the trail leads that way. And she goes ahead and basically confirms that she will let him use resources to bring her in. Because other than that, General Ross is basically only in charge of anything in the United States. He don't have jurisdiction outside of the United States. And we can see here that that's kind of what's going on. That's where he's getting the authority, where he can meet her there, where we see in the trailers where, maybe it's Budapest or whatnot. And then here's something interesting too, because brings up the timeline of when all this is going on. Because here at the very end, we get Thaddeus Ross. He says, Margaret, and whoever Margaret is, it must be his secretary, I guess. And she says, yes, sir. He says, get Tony Stark on the phone, would you? And they're saying, this other guy walks in there, one of his other, must be his liaisons, I guess, says, Mr. Secretary, we have a solid lead on the Widow, but we have to move right now. Okay? And then she goes on to say, or he goes on to say, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Stark put you on. He says, hold, yes, of course, hang up. So it makes me wonder, because the same thing, we seen that same setup right after Civil War, when he got put on hold, Tony Stark was there having his fun with him. And then we see right here. This is basically what's been going on here is leading right into the movie, because he's telling Thaddeus Ross, we have to go now to get Black Widow because we have a lead on her. So basically, we can see that this lead is obviously right after it does take place in those times that Kevin Feige was saying. Now, how much do you guys believe that do you guys believe that this whole movie is going to take place in the past? Because I've kind of been thinking, for a while here, guessing that maybe a lot of this stuff that happens in this Black Widow movie takes place in the present. I've hypothesized here, I've theorized here on the channel as well, that part of the reason in Avengers Endgame that Bruce Banner Hulk couldn't bring back the Black Widow when he snapped his fingers is because she wasn't dead. And I believe this for several reasons. For one, like in the comics, she's been dead and come back alive. She came back. She currently right now she is a clone of herself with implanted memories, which is odd because that's something no different than what's going on in Krakoa right now. But anyway, so that's happened to her in the comics. These and not everything comes out of we see happening in the comics comes into the movies, but it does lead me to a lot of that speculation that sure that she's trapped in the Soul Stone and all that kind of stuff, but why else wouldn't he be able to snap her back? And I think maybe it's because she wasn't actually dead. We've seen that Captain America went back and did all kinds of meddling in time. We also see that Loki took off with the Tesseract, and who knows what kind of things that he ended up setting off differently as well. And there's been rumors going around out there about the Loki series about possibly being a female Loki or anything like that, and that kind of makes me wonder, because people have been talking about in the Loki series, we've seen the Time Variance Authority there in the little trailer, and how's he going back and forth through time? Well, maybe we actually get the Enchantress introduced in the Loki series, and like I said in that Avengers comic, where she's kind of looping him back in time and resetting him back in time. Maybe the Enchantress is actually the person who does that for him. Maybe she's actually able to go back and send him back in time, and maybe that's where Immortus comes in at, and and maybe that's where the Time Variance Authority. I don't know how much the Time Variance Authority has to do with Immortus, but I think a lot of that could be tying together. And obviously a lot of this would obviously play into like the Doctor Strange and even the WandaVision series with everything that's going on in there, because everything is going to be so interconnected. It's so crazy. And that's something I've talked about here on the channels as well. Disney Plus, or Marvel Studios having the Disney Plus service there, is a game changer. It's an absolute game changer for what they're doing. We can see that Star Wars is supposedly out there getting ready, trying to mix up their worlds and get them to connect together. But Marvel Studios is already doing that, and it looks like they're already setting everything up here to be really successful, which is a good thing because we can get origin stories, get to know characters' motives, and get to know these characters before they are launched into the movies in the MCU, into the cinematic, actual cinematic universe, as opposed to the small screen, where they can do a lot of those things on the small screen through the Disney Plus streaming service. So this thing, man, I mean, guys, this is a game changer. What Marvel Studios has going on right now, because we can see already that they're connecting everything. They're connecting the series with the movies and all of those things. Now, I will say Kevin Feige came out, a while back and said that you have to watch the Disney Plus series to understand what's going on in the MCU. Now, for one, I've talked about that several times, guys. I think that is false in the sense that he's a salesman. He wants you to buy the series so you can watch the shows, okay? Plain and simple. But I'm not saying that he's not wrong, that you're not going to want to keep up with him. If you're a nerd like myself, or yourself probably, you're going to want to keep up with it. But when they're crossing these characters over from the Disney Plus streaming service into the MCU, they will, in the movies, they will give you enough information to catch you up in the movies. Any good writer will tell you, okay, like, we got to bring this character in for people who didn't see this. We can do, maybe a little scene or, little conversations here and there that reveal things that happened in the series. They also catch you up on this character as well, because they've done most of that world building over here. And you can choose or choose not to go read that. Much like Marvel does with their events in the comic books and the tie-ins that they do for those events, which admittedly is a huge source of frustration. But in Feige, we trust. Okay, let's see what else we got going on in the comments here, guys. Sorry, it's little behind here. Little behind here. Um, let's see any tagged posts here. Gary North says at James Heaton, I'm just getting back into buying comics myself. I'm starting off with some new titles and also picking up some older stuff. Yes, definitely. Yeah. I would definitely do that. Like I said, find characters that you like and get into those. I wouldn't look at the Avengers because it sounds like the Avengers has been doing caca for Marvel continuity. It sounds like it's all, but I haven't read it, so I can't say for sure. But me myself, I've been getting more into indie comic books. Like there's one I was reading this morning, a series I've been waiting for it to start back up, and that's Sarah and the Royal Stars. This is on Vault Comics. It's a very good book. Female led book. This girl Sarah, this woman Sarah, she is basically like the leader of her people at this time, and the seasons had stopped changing because these stars, if you will, they're legends of the constellations. Basically, they're like basically like human representations of the constellations. They got stuck on Earth and trapped here, and so the seasons won't change. So in Parsa, Sarah's people are basically in famine because the seasons won't change. They're in a drought. They can't get food. It's pretty bad, and basically it's all because of these two other evil stars put them under a spell. And at this point now, these royal stars have to go and kill these other stars to break the spell in order to get the seasons to change to bring everything back to normal. It's been very good. It's been a very great series. But yeah, I've really been getting into indies lately. The Mask wins, says Wu-Tang Wells. Man, Russell, make sure you go to Fanjector's channel, man, and go cast your vote tonight. Because, dude, it's always fun. Like, the more people we get there, the more fun it is over on Fanjector's channel. No problem, Rose. Any comic shop will know what you're looking for. Just say the Black Widow everyone has been. Okay, yeah, we went over that one. Yeah, definitely. Cable Guy ain't winning, my man. Maybe it will. Yeah, I was gonna say, Fanjector, it's winning. If I have to, I will create troll accounts or sock accounts, however you want to consider it, and make sure that it wins. Wow, so much Cable Guy love. Who would have thought? Because that's a great movie. King Bar says, I just saw. Okay, yeah, yeah, but yeah, okay, yeah, I read that. See, I'm back a little behind. I skipped up a little too much. The Truman Show is a different kind of '90s Jim Carrey movie. Indeed, it is. Indeed, it is. Let's see. Wookiee Supremacy says if Carrie's Riddler gets anywhere near that list, it loses all validity. I liked Carrie's Riddler, honestly. I liked that. Dumb and Dumber. Oh, that definitely better be on there. If Dumb and Dumber isn't on there, I'm leaving the stream. Lonely Banter says so. Second Street Marvel only 35 minutes behind the chat. Yes. King Bar says my brother from another colored mother. Sir Nerdalot is here. Thank you so much for being here. Says, I never really see much about Wolverine comics. Are they not good anymore? Am I missing someone covering? No, there's actually not really a whole lot of solo Wolverine comics out right now because he was dead for a little while. I think he was dead for about a year, something like that. And then they had like the Hunt for Wolverine and all of these things going on. And then he came back. I don't think it was last year. I think it was actually the year before. I think it was 2018. They did the Return of Wolverine. Aggressively Relaxing says, Wookie, you are crazy. Forever is the best Batman movie from the 89 verse. Oh, you crazy. You crazy, man. Don't even, yeah. Do you ever cover Star Wars comics? I don't very much, but you know what? I actually have to do a review of all of those Jedi Fallen Order, Dark Temple. Yeah, it's like way late. I did all of those. I was going to do a review of those. But I also did recently check out that new Vader series that just started. I think it's just called Darth Vader. I don't know. That just started like a couple weeks ago where Padme was still alive. I did get that one. I intend to do a review of that. Wookiee Supremacy says, I'd like to see, I'd like it if he'd read a few Star Wars Legacy issues, to be honest. Like which issues, Wookiee? I could check them out. James Good says, hey, came over from the dens and subbed to you. Love your chat, and I'll add it to my daily schedule. Well, thank you. I greatly appreciate that. Yeah, those guys over at the den, man. They're all right. There's some all right guys. They are. They are a big supporter. I'm a big supporter of their channel. Um, Wookiee Supremacy says Zellweger always looks like she's smelling a bad fart. But me, myself, and Irene was funny. Yes. I'll have to track down this Black Widow issue. Yeah, I was gonna say there's two of them. It's a two issue series. Your local comic book shop, if they don't have it, it's because a lot of the comic book shops don't order a lot of these, because I can't say that they sell a whole lot of these except for to nerds like me who want to theorize on them. But you can also check out at marvel.com or even Comixology. You can buy the digital versions of them as well. But me personally, I like physical copies. Over Easy Mose says, at Fanjextra, yeah, it kind of made me paranoid after I saw it. Is my life being watched like a movie? Oh, yeah. George says, I also now want Doc Samson introduced. Oh, man, we just jumped again. Comic John says, even if Black Widow is set in the past between Civil War and Infinity War, but new information about still living characters will change our perception dramatically. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Just like what Jonathan Hickman has been doing recently in the X-Men comic books. Genius stuff. I mean, it's not genius, it's just good storytelling. Like you planted seeds back here, and now you know later you go off on that narrative thread. The Lonely Banter says, mod one less live stream and make it happen, Tommy. Oh, I haven't had time to make my own, or I would also have other guinea pigs to post. Oh, okay. Like, yeah, man. Tommy's a busy man. Wookiee Supremacy says, that's bullshit. Find a character you absolutely despise. Start there. Well, actually, you know what? That works too. Because I'm reading the Captain Marvel series, and I don't like the Captain Marvel character very much. And I've been reading the series, and it's a series. It's a series. Oh man, why would you ever start reading comics with something you like? Yeah, and that's true. You know, honestly, I'll tell you, go with a risk too. I started taking risks on the indie books, and I've been loving them. So I mean, certainly take risks too. Valuable advice there, says Wookie. That's funny. The 2Med2 Star Wars Network, thank you so much for being here. Says, I went to see The Rise of Skywalker with my dad yesterday, and after the Black Widow trailer, he was like, I have no idea what that movie is supposed to be about. Absolutely, we have no clue, and that's a good thing. The Lonely Banter says, Wolverines never die, they multiply. Yes. Sylvester M, thank you for being here, says, I got Wolverine The Long Night, and that one was pretty good. And Wolverine The Long Night, that is the one that was based on that podcast series, if I'm not mistaken. And that series, the guy who wrote that series was Benjamin Piercy, and he's the guy that's writing, that wrote this current, he's writing Wolverine right now. He's the same writer who wrote this one. So yeah, Benjamin Piercy is the same guy writing that. Definitely. So yeah, you should enjoy that. If you like The Long Night, you'll definitely like that. Jim Carrey pet detective movies. Yes, those movies were great. And I haven't seen 2 in a long time, but my dude, even my daughters love that Jim Carrey movie. Kilmer does have perfect Batman lips. That's funny. Fanjextra says that the Me Too Mid Star Wars Network, the plot has been very underexpressed in the marketing. Oh, as far as... Oh, man, what were we just talking about? Oh, yeah. With the Black Widow series? Yeah, so they're trying to keep it all under wraps. The Lonely Banter says, can we get a Second Street Marvel reads a comic stream? I don't know. That might come with content strikes and stuff like that. Copyright strikes. Or copyright claims and stuff. I don't know, because I know you can't necessarily show the comic book. I guess we could always do a read through. We could do that. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see how that is. Maybe I'll do that for my Patreon supporters. Wookiee Supremacy says Clooney has horrible lips to play Batman. What were they even thinking? That's funny. That is hilarious. It all comes down to the lips, right? But anyway, guys, I mean that's really about all I have. Like I said, guys, one other thing I wanted to make sure before we go, make sure that you stay hydrated, right? This video is brought to you by water. So make sure that you stay hydrated. Enjoy your water. So in recap of today's stream, what's kind of been going on is, like I said, I've got some comic book reviews that already dropped here on the channel. Make sure that you go check them out. Make sure you go to subscribe to Fanjexter's channel and get there and cast your vote on the greatest Jim Carrey movie at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tonight. That's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you're out on the East Coast. Make sure you go and do that. I've got other videos getting ready to drop some other comic book reviews. I've got a comic book preview of a new series coming out from Impact Theory Comics, their second title ever, called Hexagon, written by one of my favorite writers, Michael Morisi. Let's see. Also, don't forget that on the Trailer Park Live this Friday, I will have Kermit the Log and Jolly from Snowdub Music and Entertainment. We are going to get together. We're going to start the show off as always, but then we're going to get into... Excuse me. We're going to get into and review and talk about the Soska Sisters 2019 remake of a 1977 David Cronenberg classic, Rabid. We're going to discuss that and review that movie more on Friday, so make sure you tune in for the Trailer Park Live on Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 11 p.m. if you're out on the East Coast. And then also this Saturday I will be out of town, so the normal comic book show that I do here will not be here. It will either be over on Dylan's Comics channel or over on Chris from Chaos and Comics channel. I will make sure that I tweet that link out, and I will make sure that I share that information on my community tab here on the channel. We also got in and talked about the update for the Disney Plus streaming service. Apparently here in the next couple of weeks, Charles Murphy from murphysmultiverse.com is telling us that here in the next couple of weeks we will be getting an update about a lot of the shows coming out over there, which include things like the Loki series, She-Hulk, Moon Knight, as well as what else is there? Ms. Marvel. We will be getting an update of a lot of these shows, probably as well as Hawkeye. So I look forward to that coming up here in the next couple of weeks. My guess is maybe, you know, kind of plot lines, maybe some casting news, as we know they're getting ready to want to go into production of these. I also got into a little bit of my theorizing based on some of the rumors that are coming out with the Red Hulk that is being rumored now to supposedly be confirmed coming into the MCU by way of the She-Hulk series. We also talked a little bit, you know, about some more of my harebrained schemes regarding some of the Loki series, some of the things going on there with the rumors that Kang the Conqueror is going to be coming in, and Immortus, and all of these different things, and how some of these things tie together in my mind with just what little I know about some of these storylines and things that have gone on. I'm not no expert, or I'm not any expert on all the comic books or anything. I'm not some sort of historian or anything. I just know the books that I have read, the things that I have read about, and what's, you know, and I'm just here sharing those with you. But guys, that's all I have today for the morning movie chat. Thank you all so much for being here. Now tomorrow, guys, I do want to let you know that tomorrow I will be getting on and we'll be talking more about comic books. Tomorrow's stream is going to be more comic book centered, talking about some of the comic books that have come out at your local comic book shops today. So get out to your local comic book shop and support them. Go read some good comic books. Go out and pick up Wolverine. Go give this book a read. I'm telling you, it's a really good book. Also, you know what? Go check out The Amazing Mary Jane. I'm putting my stamp of approval on The Amazing Mary Jane, and I'm telling you that means a lot coming from me, because the writer of this book is Leah Williams. I've been highly critical of Leah Williams and her writing in the past. I thought she was highly suspect, but ever since she started writing this series that spun out of The Amazing Spider-Man in issue number 25, I believe it was, this series started coming about where Amazing Mary Jane is out there being pretty amazing, being a woman with no superpowers or anything, and helping keep a movie and its production schedule on budget and on time. This has been a really great book. I'm telling you, go check out Amazing Mary Jane as well. And also, pick up some indie comics as well. But you all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your week. Make sure you tune into the channel here in about an hour or so. That new Wolverine review is getting ready to drop on the channel. You all have a very good day, and we'll see you all in the next video. Later.